All right, guys. So we got a little bit of information slash leaks coming around and going about the community. Hopefully, these turn out to be true. Because if so, it could be pretty good for the game. I think pretty good for the direction. I don't think anyone will be really that upset about the game going in a good direction. I do plan on making a video once I get, again, I'm still kind of creeping into the Grand Cross sphere again. Once I start to refamiliarize myself with a couple of things and play even more than I am now. So I don't want to get too into it, but anyway, this leak is pretty big. So shout outs to ALS for the information. We got a little bit of spoilers. So the next LR festival is seemingly going to be an Elizabeth. So a light attribute Elizabeth. And then after her, an LR7 Deadly Sins festival will likely be held. That's a lot of LRs. I think LRs might be the new norm. I'm not too sure how they're gonna go about it. Considering Meliodas he started off from UR and went to LR, so it could be that for festivals right now. Oh, and I got Subaru Beatrice. They start off as UR too. No, so maybe from now on, big celebrations will have LRs, right? There won't be SSRs. That's pretty interesting. All right, so Elizabeth, assuming it's going to be Queen Elizabeth, it could be a new named Elizabeth, but I mean, I don't know what name you would give Elizabeth. Could be an Elizabeth from Four Knights of Apocalypse, but I mean, that Elizabeth is so far ahead of the story where they're at now. It doesn't seem likely. I'll say like a Queen Elizabeth for now, but this image, like he says, is only for like to give you guys an idea of like who it is, like to give you a picture in your head. So that's interesting. LR7 Deadly Sins Festival, that is going to be crazy because we already have, I mean, a good chunk of characters for Seven Deadly Sins. No, like we have a pretty big roster. Granted, they are all, some of them are all doing different things, like supporting strictly demons, like this blue Meliodas, this assault mode melee, but they're for the most part, all of them kind of support each other. So it's kind of crazy that they plan on giving us, I mean, even more support. I'll take it. I'll definitely take the support, right? Seven Deadly Sins. I just thought maybe they were gonna give, again, I'm not sure how long demons reign supreme, so I'm not trying to be out here like, oh, I wish they would buff demons, because I don't know if demons had a long reign after I left the game. So I'll say that it's good that they're dropping Seven Deadly Sins characters, right? I still don't have these many characters, so them dropping, I'll take it. I like collecting the Seven Deadly Sins, right? Obviously, so that's pretty crazy that they're gonna give us more support. Assuming the support and the units will be based around Meliodas for a little bit, I'm pretty excited. I do want to see what they have planned for the Sins team here. Okay, so let's keep going. Now it does say that the four horsemen of the apocalypse, so Tristan, Lancelot, Gawain, and Percival, they haven't been given much attention until now. So this whole thing right here, I'm gonna assume this is gonna be addressed in the dev notes, right? I'll just assume that once they drop another dev note, it'll mention this information. So they haven't received much attention, will be strengthened from summer onwards. Okay, so we can expect some pretty big buffs maybe towards the end of June and throughout August, maybe even potentially beginning of September. We could expect some four horsemen love. That'll be crazy, right? Like maybe a new Lancelot, a Gawain in the game, a new Percival. That'd be pretty crazy. That would be pretty crazy. I don't really. So the four knights, they're okay. Like the four horsemen, I'm not a big fan of. Other than Lancelot, I'm not really. I don't know. Percival's cool. I don't really like Tristan. I'll be honest. I don't really like Tristan as a character. And then Gawain, she's cool, I guess, right? But I'm not this. I don't know. I'm just not really vibing with the four horse. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not feeling them too much. So anyway, Percival will receive. I'm gonna assume this is gonna be Holy Relic, right? Sacred Treasure translates to Holy Relic. I'm gonna assume that means Holy Relic. Dedicated to the four horsemen of the apocalypse, a new system will be introduced every November. For example, Lancelot's ability to read the cards, Tristan's dual attributes. Okay, so we can expect some type of new system around November. So the end of the year, we'll get a new something, right? We don't know what, but we'll get something. And then Gawain is scheduled to introduce a new gameplay system. Interesting. So when it says gameplay system, it doesn't mean mode? Does it mean like legitimately some type of alternate way to play the game? Like these are things that obviously it leaks won't be able to give us all the information, depending on where they get the source from, if they even finished out whatever these guys are leaking. So this right here is interesting because I wonder what they mean by that. I want to say new game mode, right? I think they mean new game mode. I can't imagine a new gameplay system. Maybe the new game mode introduces a gameplay system, right? We don't know, but that'll be cool. A new ability. I wonder what Lancelot's card reading ability. I can only imagine how crazy that was when he released, right? I can only imagine how wild that was. And then Tristan's dual attributes. Is he the only one with that? I didn't even realize that. Is Tristan legitimately the only one with dual attribute? Because that is kind of crazy, right? How would I even go about let's go to the filter by attribute. So Tristan is a dark end knight, right? So let's just go back here. Yep, so he's dark and light. Yeah, I guess he is. I never realized that he's the only one with dark and light. That's pretty cool. So I guess he doesn't take type disadvantage, right? Like he's always going to be type neutral, right? That's what that means. I don't know if that's exactly what that means, but that's pretty cool. So imagine they do that with like, I don't know, that's cool. I would like that a lot actually. If they released a unit that's like red and blue, so technically, well, how would that work though? Because they'd be strong against green, but weak against blue, I guess, or type neutral against blue. I don't know. That'd be pretty crazy. That would be pretty crazy, right? Sorry about that. And then next we'll go to what else they posted. So that's pretty much it on that side of things. We'll go here. It seems like we're gonna get a Gauther from the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse, which would make sense because of where they're at in the story. They do like to do like character releases like generally around where they're at in the story in the game, right? They do like to do that so that way they're not going too far or too behind. I do want them to go a little beyond, but like it would be nice to get like the previous iteration of these characters and get them more like the first season of Seven Deadly Sins. Let's get characters from there, like Housers, Guild Thunders. I think a lot of people would appreciate it. Would it be hype? No, but it'd still be pretty crazy to see. But anyway, Gother from the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse version. Okay, so that's gonna be pretty interesting to see what exactly would he do. How would he be buffing? Would he just buff over he wouldn't buff Seven Deadly Sins, right? Maybe he'd only buff Four Horsemen and him. So I don't know, that'd be pretty cool. I want to see what they do with these Four Horsemen characters. But I mean, to be completely honest, the four I keep Four Horsemen, but it's the Four Knights of the Apocalypse, right? I want to see what they do with the Four Knights, because right now there isn't much. I mean, they could do a lot with Percival. I guess Nazian's, she does have the sacred tree or the spirit spear. So we'll see. And it says Chandler might be a step up. I could see that happening. Actually, I could see that. I forgot they do they do that sometimes where they do step up banners. I could see that being the case, right? Because again, you do kind of want Meliodas to, you know, have good demon supports and good sin support. So I could definitely see Chandler being a step up. And then it seems like Esterosa's LR will be coming next week, potentially. It just says second wave, but you know, it could be early as next week. It could be later. We'll see. I would advise people to just start saving up LR coins, you know, UR pendants, you know, books. I would just advise people to just start saving up, because Astrosa could be crazy. He could not be crazy, right? But either way, he's gonna help out Meliodas so much. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. There's not much else to go off of. Again, huge shout out to ALS at 7 Deadly Sins League. Very, very, very you know, nice that he was able to get, or they were able to get us this information. But yeah, that's gonna be it, guys, for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe if you did. Comment below, who do you personally want to see, who do you want to come out next. Let me know, guys, and yeah, I'll see you all later.